Hey everybody, love and light. Lacey, can you turn your volume down just a little bit because you can hear the echo? What's up? What's up?
Can you hear me or is it too low?
Okay, I can hear you.
Is it low?
No,
Okay.
I hear you perfectly.
All right.
Hey y'all, love and light, peace and blessings. It's me, your girl Catalea, and we are having another Catalea's World. So today I kind of wanted to start this off a little bit different than I normally started off, only because, as you guys know, I've been having just basically a tough couple months. And so, in that aspect, I wanted to basically start it off with asking the ancestors, you know, to basically guide this topic of conversation. So, ancestors, if you are here, and I know you are here, I just ask that you just guide this conversation and you use me and Lacey as a tool to help somebody out there who may be able to receive this information, learn from this information, and just grow from this information. I thank you that we are walking in our divine purpose and just give us whatever we need or all the instruments we need to either heal ourselves or and heal others. And so that's how I wanted to start this out.
Sounds
So
good to me.
thank you. So, Lacey, we're going to introduce our guest today, which is Lacey. You guys seen her here before. She's been here several times.
I know, right?
This is one of my spiritual sisters. We get it cracking every single time that we come here. And we said that we're going to actually start doing this, at least try to do this once a week or once a month or however, our schedule see fit. We're going to do this more for you guys, okay?
Definitely.
So I'm going to go ahead and let Lacey introduce herself. And here we go.
What's going on, guys? Peace, love, light, and positive manifestations all day, every day. My name is Lacee Beau, but I'm also known as Lacee Rise of the Rise family. I am a writer, a life coach, a poet, a model, and just over around, entrepreneur, And I would say my purpose is to ensure the growth of people that are open to consuming the information. Like, I love to teach. That's my passion. That's my calling. So everything that I do is for that purpose.
That's what's up. So I know we have some of Lacey's guests over here, and you guys don't know me, so let me introduce myself as well. I am Catalea Gordon. I have been on my spiritual journey for over 22 years. I am a hair rapologist, as you guys can see. I teach women how to wrap their hair. I also teach hair wrap classes. I teach about the history of the hair wrap. I empower young women and women all over the world to be who they are, live in their truth, love themselves above all. When I first started my journey and first started my speaking, it was about self love, loving yourself. Now I have evolved and I'm more so speaking about doing the shadow work. I'm also a poetess, a songwriter. I have written plenty of songs for artists and I sing on a little bit. I dabble, dabble. I'm not the
Ooh, do
best
you
singer.
really? See, y'all, I ain't know that. I ain't know that. Look, she done messed around
Yes,
and slipped and told me some extra
yes, you gotta hear
stuff.
some of my music, Lacey. But yes, I
Okay, yeah,
sing.
for sure.
I
Definitely.
sing. I also rap a little bit, and
Okay.
but my main focus is poetry. And I'm all about spiritual growth, spiritual enlightenment, public speaker. I've been speaking for many, many years, and that's just a little bit about me.
Nice.
So let's dive into our topic. So this is the goddess circle, y'all. So y'all never know what y'all may hear on the goddess circle. I know before me and Lacey were speaking about divine femininity, and we're definitely going to talk a little bit about femininity. But today I wanted to start this off with let's talk about um, doing your interpersonal work, doing your shadow work,
Mm-hmm.
working on yourself, because a lot of times. we don't understand like why everything outside of our world is happening to us. We're like, what is going on? And then you also have to understand metaphysics, and you have to understand attraction. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what's in your heart, what's in your mind, and life experiences, childhood trauma, things like that begin to shape our personality. And those things will actually take over our world. And
Mm-hmm.
rather than us having the control to take over our world. So, Lacee, do you have a little bit to say about that?
When it comes to doing your shadow work, first it's a very important thing. It's a very important step as far as your growth and your evolution in your life, as far as um, establishing who you are. And when you are a kid and your parents, they whoever your guardian is, they're gonna instill everything that they value, and then you're gonna carry that forward. And most of that information has not been decided by you to say, is this a description of me? Does this convey who I am as a person? The people that actually took the time to ask themselves that question, they naturally move into shadow work because um, you're trying to clean up the mess. And you don't realize, yes, our parents, our guardians, they did our best. They did their best to raise us and give us what they had at the time. That doesn't mean that you don't stop to look at it, analyze it, and say, is this teaching beneficial to my life? Does this bring me positivity or negativity? Is this causing me trauma, or is this um, contributing to my evolution? And because we have been taught not to question authority, we think it's disrespectful to question our upbringing. When in reality, you're not saying these people are bad. You're saying, how did this experience affect me? It has nothing to do with how you feel about the person unless you have beef with the person. Then that's just part of your shadow work. But you do have to decide what you're going to hang on to inside of your spirit, inside of your heart, inside of your mind. Because if you perceive that your father didn't love you, you're going to walk around looking for love and affection to replace what you lost. You have to say, why did I feel not loved by my father? Did he really not love me? Did he say he didn't love me, or did I assume he didn't love me based on the fact that he didn't show me love in the way I expected to see it? There is a difference. That doesn't mean your father didn't love you. It means you wanted love in a particular way that your father couldn't accommodate. It's not the same. And if you accuse your father of not loving you when in fact he did love you, now you're carrying a trauma forward. You're corrupting your relationships going forward. You're corrupting how you're going to raise your son going forward. And that's the stuff that you have to clean up, because as much as we like to be adults and say, oh, that don't affect my life no more, it does. It shows up in your life on a consistent basis. You don't see it, but the people that are experiencing you see it and experience it. And that's the reason why some people will walk away and some people won't. Some people are going to trauma bond to you because they can relate, they got the same issue. Other people have grown past that, or they never had the issue and they going to walk past you. You see what I'm saying? In order to jump from your circle into a more healing circle, you have to do your healing work. And when it comes to doing that healing work, that's all surrounding your shadow work.
That's facts. Can you mute yourself like while I'm talking? Because I think
Sure.
we have a feedback. I think your mic is loud, and then my mic is. So I'm muting myself when you're talking. So
I got you.
can you do that for me?
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, I know that I have like when I've been doing my shadow work, it is, and I've been doing my shadow work. I want to say for the last 3 years, you guys. And when I tell you, it is one of the most emotional things that you could go through. And as you guys can see, a lot of you guys follow me on my Instagram channel. I hold nothing back with you guys. I'm very transparent and very open about everything that I'm going through. And it's because I want you guys to see what it is like when you are going through shadow work and when you are doing your shadow work. And it's not going to be roses. It's not going to be flowers and daisies. It's going to be some of the most toughest moments in your life. And it's in those toughest moments when you realize that you really have to do the shadow work, that you really have to do it, because you will see yourself continuously repeating cycles that you are like, how do I get out of this? You will continuously see yourself drawing in certain type of people, being around certain type of situations. And instead of pointing fingers at other people, we have to start to look within and work on ourselves, and look like, where are we failing, what are we doing wrong. And you may not be doing anything wrong. It could just be you still have ties to certain situations. You still have to forgive people. You still have to let go of some things, and those things resonate within your energy.
And I would agree with that 100%. And that's the part of shadow work that people want to avoid. That's why they don't do it. Is because it's going to break you down. I had a really good friend of mine, and we were talking about her going to therapy, just using this as an example. And she was just like, I don't want to go to therapy. And I said, well, why not? It's good for you. You and I both know you got plenty of things to discuss. Why don't you want to go? And she said, I don't want to do all that crying and make me look like a fool and all of this. And I said, I hear you on that. But if the tears come up, it's because you need to get it out. You wouldn't have that pain and it wouldn't start to make you cry if you didn't need to get that off you. That's what you have to understand, is that's part of your growth. As much as we like to say, we do this thing where somebody could say something just in everyday conversation and it hit a nerve, and you see that person shift their weight and just all of a sudden they change their posture, they face cringe up a little bit, and then they release it back, and you go, what was that? Oh, nah, it ain't nothing. You dismiss yourself. You felt that. It made you move and shift because you didn't even know how to process it. And you told yourself not to snap. You told yourself to fall back. You dismiss your own feelings, but you want other people to listen to how you feel. You want other people to receive you and do something about it. But when somebody tell you, they know they said something to rub you the wrong way, they could see it in your body language even though you haven't said a word, and you won't give that feeling a voice because you feel like your voice isn't important. You don't think they're going to respect it. You got a list of reasons as to why you don't say a word. You don't want to start no drama. All of those things are a part of your conditioning. Those are things you have to get rid of in your shadow work. But you have to be willing to look at it and go through the pain and double back and say, the reason why I don't speak when people ask me how I feel is because I don't feel like people care. I don't feel like people care because my voice was silenced as a child. I grew up in a household where people say, do what I say, don't do what I do. You speak when you're spoken to. So eventually I accepted that as part of my reality, and now I'm an adult that don't know how to speak my piece. It happens. But if you don't know how to say that and then back have this negative experience and then take your steps backward and go, okay, well, where did that come from? Okay, well, where did I learn that? Where was my first experience with that? You will realize most of what you do today as an adult started before you were 12 years old. You are the same person that you were in the first 12 years of your life. You're just more mature in a way that you pay bills and that kind of stuff. But if you're outspoken, you've always been that way. If
And
you
then I would like to add another psychological aspect of it, right? What a lot of people don't understand is when we go through things, we go through certain trauma and things like that. And I learned this in school. Also, I had a friend reiterate this. When we go through a lot of trauma, what happens is our frontal lobe, which is our our place of reasoning, our place of critical thinking, becomes damaged. So that means that it's a lot of us who were younger, right? We're still living in that same moment because our frontal lobe was damaged. We don't have critical thinking and our whole way of thinking things through and processing things have been damaged. You know, that is a psychological and a medical fact that when we face trauma, it damages our frontal lobe as a child. So that's one thing that we have to understand, you know. So it's imperative that we actually do the healing to heal ourselves of past trauma, anything that's happened in the past. I know for me, when I go through certain things now as an adult, I find myself going back to things that happened to me as a child and thinking and reiterating on all of those disappointments that I had back when I was a child that's completely irrelevant today, right? And so it's very important that we do that work.
Definitely, 100%. And it's kind of crazy because we're unable to make the connection. And to speak to what you're talking about as far as the frontal lobe, if you how many times have you had such a trauma that when you try and account for what happened, you can barely remember the details, but you know it happened? You see what I'm saying? And you know you've told this story over and over and over, but for whatever reason you're missing pieces. And it's because as much as we like to talk about our mind, what we don't realize is we don't give credit to our brain's ability to maneuver on its own without your permission. And if the mind feels like your body, your spirit cannot handle the damage, it will shut your mind down and take you somewhere else where you can not experience the pain. That's the idea of where split personalities come from. That's the idea of where how people end up in uh, psychiatrical type places, because their brain has locked them inside themselves and they can't come out. You know what I mean? So they get to a point to where they need to be serviced by a medical professional because they locked themselves away. Their brain needed to protect them from something so bad that it literally locked them away from themselves.
And you know
And they
what?
can't even come out. They can't even come out. They just sit
And
there.
you know
Those
what?
people.
Now that you mentioned that, I remember, like, because I had such a traumatic childhood, right? I remember literally locking myself up in my room and reading books. And that's how I became so intelligent, because I
Mhm.
would literally lock myself up in my room and read books, like while my father is, can you mute yourself for a minute? While my father is outside cussing, he's beating up my mother, drug deals are going on in my home, everything. I would lock myself up in my room and I would read and I would watch movies and I would like try to function in a way where it would take my mind off of all the chaos that was going on in my life. So that is completely true. And also, I know a lot of you guys can relate to this because Lacee is speaking a word today, okay? So I know a lot of you guys can relate to this. Like when you're going through certain things, what do a lot of us tend to do? We tend to fantasize about how things could be, how they should be, what I'm gonna do. I know I do that. Like that's just my Virgo energy. Like my Virgo energy, I'm a fantasizer, I'm a dreamer, and things like that. So yeah, like I remember, as far as me being molested, I was molested several times as a young child, and I remember that I didn't remember it, y'all. I really did not remember it until it was time for me to lay down with my husband at the time. I'm not married anymore, but with my husband at the time. And he was like, you told me you was a virgin, yo, like, what's up? And I'm like, I am a virgin. Like, I haven't been doing nothing. He was like, nah, something's happened to you then. Something has happened to you then. And it wasn't until that moment that, like, I was 20. I was 18 at the time, and I was just so sad that I couldn't give him that. And then I remember like being like 21, y'all, because that always like fucked with me. It always messed with my mind. And I remember being 21 and I started to remember, y'all. Like I started to remember like little remnants of things that would take place, that would happen. And then I remember by the time I was 23, I full-fledged remembered every single thing. And it was like a big brick that hit me. Okay. You have no idea. It was one of the most hurtful things that I experienced because my brain literally had locked away that trauma. My brain literally was like, I completely forgot about it. And it was really hurtful.
And the funny thing, well, ironic thing, is that it's very common, and you don't even realize that a lot of the things you do to soothe yourself is from your childhood. Like, I know when I get stressed, I have a tendency to cross my arms and kind of hold myself. And that was the first thing that I did when I lost the presence of my mother. When she got sick, I used to lay up under her to go to sleep. So when she stopped being at home, I would lay in my bed and wrap the covers. Like even when I sleep to this day, I'm a grown woman. Them covers will sit all the way up to here, and I will wrap it all the way around myself, and I can't go to sleep until I feel bundled up. And I'm the same way with my companion. If he's close, I'm snuggled all the way up. I need to feel that body heat. I can't get comfortable. And that stems from my mother. Like, you know what I mean? When I was under stress, or if you're a kid and your parents spent a lot of time arguing, you spend a lot of time like this because the yelling is getting to you. 9 times out of 10, you're an adult with a trigger that comes from yelling. The minute a person raise their voice, you ready to find an exit. You know what I mean? Because in your mind, when people yell, things go really badly. And you don't want to go near that negative experience. So the minute that everything shoots up, you're like, oh, I gotta go. Everything, it sends you into a panic mode because it's a trigger. And you don't realize that you react to certain things because of these things stemming from your childhood. And it could be from how you soothe yourself to the things that you run from. Like, I know, for like, if you've been belittled a lot, if somebody tells you you're doing something wrong, your reaction is to shut it all off. You go numb, you not listening no more,
That's
you
me.
looking them dead in their
That's
face,
me.
and you not taking it in because in your mind, I can't take this negativity in because I'll start to use it to hurt myself. Because every time my father says something, every time my mother says something, I spent all my time like, you're not good enough. Yeah, 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 yeah. You know what I mean? And you carry that into your adulthood. So when people say stuff that penetrates your heart, now you store it in your brain. So you learned how to block it out. You can listen to somebody sit in your face and rip you a whole new one, and you haven't absorbed any of it because from your childhood, you have learned to eliminate that from your hearing so it doesn't hurt.
You got me over here like y'all. You know I'm going through something right now. So you
Mhm.
got me over here
Oh, I'm
in
sorry,
tears.
babe. Listen, don't cry. Oh my gosh.
Oh
Stop the
my god,
interview. Stop the interview.
Braille, can you bring me tissue?
Yes, stop the interview. Stop the press.
No, it's needed to be heard because that's always have been my feeling, you know, of not being good enough because
Yeah.
for me,
Deep
um,
breath. Deep
right,
breath. Yeah, it'll help.
for me, like with my mother, and my father, like it used to be like with growing up as a child, I would try to do things and they would tell me to be quiet, to stop it, you know.
Mhm.
Um, I never
Attention.
really had that support as far as like I tried to play basketball and I was
I'm a
playing
mute. I'm
basketball.
listening.
Okay. And I was playing basketball and things like that. And nobody would come to my games and that sort of thing. And then that rejection, trickled over into my adulthood and into relationships and things like that. Braille, can you bring me tissue? And into relationships and things like that. And even just recently, I've had a couple friends. I had a few friends that I really cared about, y'all, that I really loved, and that completely cut me off. I remember I'm not going to talk about one of those friends, but one of those friends, I have been friends with her for 10 years. And she was like my best friend. We did everything together. And I remember, Brielle, can you bring me tissue? And I remember like her telling me like that she outgrew me because I didn't have like the money or like the status that she had. And she told me, basically she told me she outgrew me. And so that hurt. Our children grew up together. You know, we've been friends for very many years. I mean, I brought her into her spiritual awakening. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of hard. That was hard. And then just to deal with this saying, it's kind of like the cycle kind of repeated itself over again, and it's just hard because I have been dealing with feeling rejected my whole life. And it's like, I thought I had got past that feeling only for it to like resurface itself again. You know
You
what I
take,
mean?
I was going to say, you breathe, and I'm just going to take a couple moments and let them follow me a little bit while you gather yourself. Um, just speaking to your point. Um, and what I was going to say is for everybody watching, the reason why you feel like you dealt with something and it just come back full-fledged, of course, is because you haven't dealt with it. Obviously, you buried it, you pushed it down, explained it away, whatever was done. And there are things that happen with your inner child that broke your heart, not Catalina specific, but just whoever. There are things that broke your heart when you were that innocent. You know what I mean? And because you were young, you didn't know what was happening to you. You
I'll
explained
be
it
right back.
away.
I'm listening.
You explained it away and moved forward. And then one day you have an experience with somebody else and it replicates or it reminds you of said experience behind you, and that emotion comes back to the front of your brain and hits you like a freight train. Have you ever had somebody stir the emotions in you that ignites you something so serious that something explodes out of you, whether it be complete rage or a lot of pain and sadness? And in your mind, you're like, this person just said a few words. Why did I just break down like this? It's because there's a part of your mind that remembers hearing it before and it reached back into your past, grabbed those similar memories and pulled it right up to the front. So now, this experience you're in right now is sitting on top of everything that's been pulled forward from behind you. I remember for myself, it was some form of abandonment with my mother getting sick. And I know she didn't have a choice in the matter, but that's my best friend. So her not being able to be active in my life really devastated me. Then it was my father's my Superman, but because she fell ill, all of a sudden he's not the same parent that he was prior to. So he removed himself in a lot of ways in my life. Then you move through these relationships, and I ended up in this one relationship where this guy used to always, if I stepped a toe out of line, he would come at me like, I'ma leave you, was the threat, you know? And when he would come and be like, man, this ain't it. You know what I mean? I'ma leave you. We got into an argument, I'ma leave. There was a pain that would hit me and break me all the way down to the floor. I would start crying like somebody died. And I couldn't wrap my head around it. Like, all he's saying is he gonna break up with me. It ain't that big of a deal, but I feel like my heart just got ripped out of my chest. And I couldn't stop the tears. I couldn't stop crying. And it wasn't until I came to my sense of clarity that I realized I felt like my mother left me. I felt like my father left me. I felt like didn't nobody come for me when I was by myself. So to see somebody else that I love standing in front of me saying that it's easy for them to walk away like I'm nobody, it ignited something in me. And while I'm having that experience in the moment, my mind reached all the way back to every other thing that looked just like that and brought it right here. So when they said what they said, all they did was stack it right on top of it. And it just hit me hard in my chest. And now all the pain from all these 30 years prior is sitting in my body right now. and you're like, why does this hurt so much? Why do I feel insane? Why do I feel like I can't breathe right now? And in your mind, you're thinking it's because you love this person. You thinking it's because you're infatuated with this person. You want to be with them and you're so passionate. And in reality, you're in that much pain because that's how much garbage you left behind you. That's how much stuff that's devastating you left behind you. And now all of that stuff has to come back up to the front. And that's what I tell people when it comes to doing your shadow work, how important it is you never leave that stuff behind you. The minute somebody replicates that behavior right in front of you, you're going to react like it just happened 20 years ago. And you're not going to be able to explain why you spazzed and overly reacted to this situation because they don't know what happened to you, you know? And then now you have to apologize for something you really know you felt in here, but you don't know where it came from. Like, I know I overreacted, but I've been abandoned by so many people. I felt like I felt like I didn't have any worth for so many people. And then this person comes into my life and affirms that same thing that I thought I outgrew. And now all of that is sitting on your chest in that moment. And it's that painful because that's how many times you went through the same experience and weren't able to address it because it hurt too bad. And it's nothing wrong with you because it hurt too bad. You had to survive. You were in survival mode, just like everybody else. And when you're in that much pain, you can't take care of your kids like that. You get anxious and depressed when you feel that type of emotion inside of you. How do you function and raise kids and maintain a marriage and go to your job every day when everything inside of you is telling you you ain't worth a bit of nothing? You the dirt under somebody's shoe. Your brain has to lock it out. That's the only way you can continue to work. That's the only way. And then before you know it, you're numb.
That's exactly how.
No
That's
feeling in
exactly
your
how it
body
felt. You
whatsoever.
know.
Exactly.
That's exactly. It felt like
You already
I
know
was.
it.
It felt like I wasn't shit. Like I
And I
didn't mean
know it. I
anything.
know
Like
it.
yo, all these years. You know what I mean? All these years of friendship. All these years of having somebody's back and being loyal and kind and not even expecting anything back but just friendship, you know. It hurts. It hurts. And I know better. You know what I mean? I know better. I know better. Been here, done that. But it's like I think my number one downfall, and I think a lot of people do this too, is when you put so much high expectations, you know, or you put certain people on certain levels of pedestal, um, and you don't realize like that they're human too. Like they fuck up too. They make bad decisions too. They still hurt people too. You know what I mean? And I think that was my biggest mistake is that putting, these people on this pedestal, like you're my friend, you're gonna have my back, we're gonna be friends forever type thing. And I think one of the things that like really kept me like in these friendships is because one of them said to me, yo, Catalea, I appreciate your friendship, because you've never switched up on me. You have been one of the friends that never got mad at me, never switched up on me, never changed on me. You always been there, you know? And I felt good about that because I was like, yo, that means I'm a solid person. But for that same person to switch up on me, it's crazy. It's hurtful. It's very hurtful. So yeah, I've been doing my shadow work. I really been doing it. And I thought this is one aspect of me, that abandonment thing is one aspect of me I thought I got rid of, yo. I really did. I was thriving. I really thought I got rid of that. Like not feeling like I'm not enough, even though I know I'm enough, you know. And I think one of the things that I question myself is because I know I'm such a wonderful person, but I'm not married. I don't have a significant other. I'm doing everything by myself, and I've always had to do everything by myself. You know, I never had a mother that I could fall back on. I mean, of course, she did the bare minimum. She did the little bit. You know, my father never really been there. He been chasing women forever. So, and then the one person who I thought that I could have to fall back on, I thought that loved me, was my little brother, at least. And he turned on me. So it's just like, this is just a hard moment that I'm going through in my life.
Definitely, definitely. And when you don't have your people available to you or the people you want available to you, it does. It causes you pain and it makes you question what's wrong with you. And it's a breakdown that everybody experiences, even for myself. And the one thing that I was gonna say is that we don't talk about, like, we talk about self-love and healing, but we don't talk about really what that is. And I always say on my page is that, in my opinion, when it comes to the traumas that we suffer as children, I don't believe that's something you can completely get rid of. I don't believe that that's what healing is and self-love is. I believe healing is when you are aware that you have that trigger and you have devised a plan to recognize that trigger and react in a healthy way. It doesn't mean your trigger disappears. I don't believe that the things that scarred your heart when you were a child, you can just be like, ah, it doesn't hurt me anymore. I believe that you learn to recognize what it's caused in your life and how it's broken up relationships or made you look like a person you didn't want to look like. And then you get to a place where you're like, I know what I look like and I know who I become when I'm fighting for my worth. For me, I had a self-worth issue to where when my mother fell ill, my mother was a very loving person and she liked to dote on me. She smothered me with so much love, I couldn't get enough. That's why I'm so confident. When she left my life, my father took over. He's a lot more distant, a lot more cold, a lot more suck it up, man up. He don't tell you he love you. In his mind, if he's taking care of you, it's implied. And I needed that affirmation to continue. So in my mind, if he doesn't behave the way my mother did, is something wrong with me. When in reality, he doesn't love in the same way because he wasn't raised with love in the same way. I thought it was something wrong with me. So I jumped through. I was an overachiever. 4.0. Always, I wasn't having a bunch of babies, didn't have a bunch of friends. And I felt like he gonna just tell me one day that I make him proud, right? And you never get it. So you jumping through a hoop, you jumping through a hoop, you jumping through a hoop. And then before you know it, you're a grown woman attracted to men who create hoops for you to jump through because it's your nature to want to impress and seek approval. And then when you do that shadow work and you reflect on yourself and you realize, I still have the need to prove myself all the time. But what I know now is I'm not going to prove myself to anybody but me. And if I find myself in the midst of a man who thinks that I need to jump through hoops because I need to earn his love and fight for what he gives me, he's nowhere I need to be because I will run myself into the ground to get what he's dangling in front of me. So I have to walk away from that toxicity. It doesn't mean that the trigger's no longer there because I'm attracted to those men because that's the dynamic I had with my father. That's something I have to acknowledge. No matter how much I run away from that dynamic, it always pops back up in my face through friendship, romantic relationships, friends, all of that. But I had to make a conscious decision and say, I want somebody that pours life into me. I don't want somebody saying, I'm gonna tell you I'm proud if you do XYZ. You should tell me that anyway because I'm your child. You should tell me that anyway because I'm your spouse. You should tell me that anyway because I'm your sister. You should want me to be proud and confident. You should pour that into me because you want me to raise my head up and stick my chest out high and proud. But if this person is coming to you saying the only way you're going to get that, you got to scratch my back to scratch yours, the inside of me is going to want to do that just to get your recognition. I have to shut myself down and go, Lacee, no, that is poison. You do not want to go back to that place to where you're fighting just for them to get an atta girl. And you never get it. And next thing you know, you've stacked 10, 12 years on your life. You've been jumping through all these hoops, and then you look up one day like, this mother never told me he was proud, and I just been busting my head up against the wall. I don't want to be back there. So I need to be with somebody that's going to acknowledge me, even though my own attraction is trying to take me into devastation. I gotta, and I know myself so well that before I met my husband, I would date and say, the fact that I'm attracted to you lets me know something is wrong. I gotta sit back and look and see really what I'm doing.
I do that to myself too.
Like, if I want you, something for you, something going on with you is bad for me, because I don't make the best decisions, because my judgment is clouded, because my father is a demonstration for my first connection with a man. So I assume that that's supposed to be replicated in my real life. Even though I don't like our relationship, this is what I saw in front of me. My mother's interaction with my father. She told me how to be with a man. So I learned how to be with a man through watching my mother with my father. So I naturally am a caregiver because I replicated myself after my mother, and I'm chasing my father because that's what was demonstrated in front of me. It's imprinted. I can't erase that. As much as I hate it, and I swear for God, I don't want to be with nobody that's the spitting image of this experience in my life. I swear I've ended up back there over and over and over until I hit like 26 or something like that. And I just looked up and was like, no more. I don't want to be with this man. I don't want this man a part of my life. I cannot have this type of existence. If I have to deny myself the man that I want just so I don't have to run myself into the ground like that, that's what I got to do. Sometimes you got to deny yourself. But if you don't do the shadow work, you don't even know that poison is in your system. You still chasing the same man, the same woman, and can't figure out how you end up running through a wall.
And I know for me, this was my experience. If you could hit the mute button. For me, this was my experience as far as doing my shadow work, because I know a lot of us have been through the same thing with family. So for me, it was my family, y'all. My family has from the time I can remember done the most damage to me, the most damage. And I would continually keep trying and keep going back to be in those situations because, like Lacey said, I want the approval. I want somebody to, tell me I'm proud of you. I want them to recognize that I'm a hard worker, that I'm a mother, that, I did nothing that they did, right? So I kept going back. I kept going back and being a gluttony for pain, you know. And, my mother has done so much to me. My father, he's done a lot to me, and just family, period. And one day I woke up, Lacey, like you said, and said no more. One day I woke up and I said, I can't do this anymore. Because it's like, if you continue to have those toxic people in your life, they're going to continue to talk about you. And what y'all don't understand, that words are very powerful. So people could speak death, pain, sorrow, speak whatever into your life behind your back, and you don't even know that that's what they're doing, right? So I told myself, I said, I can't do it anymore. So I cut my family off. I completely cut them off. And I told myself in my mind, I said, if I cut them off, then they don't have nothing else to talk about because they don't know what's going on in my personal life. I didn't invite them over here. I didn't cut them off. Trust me when I tell you, my mother, I love my mother so much. Like, it's just nothing like laying on my mother, just smelling her and just being in her presence. It's like a place of familiarity, and we've tried over the years, to fix it and to work it out. And we go back and forth and it's continuously be the same thing. And I had to let myself understand that she doesn't have the capacity to give me what I need. She can't give me what I need because she don't know how to. It's not her. It's she's who she is. And she's gonna be stuck there. Doesn't mean that I don't love her. It just means that I have to do what's best for me in my situation to make my life better, so I don't continuously perpetuate a cycle. And a lot of times the shadow work is cutting people off, and it is knowing your worth and recognizing what you need to do so that you could be in a place of sanity.
And I was going to say the crazy thing about that is that, back to your point, that it's all about expectations. Like even when we're a child, we tell ourselves our parents can't do no wrong, that they don't have any flaws. My father's Superman, my mama's brilliant, and all of this stuff. And it's like you you almost are ready to sever ties with your parents the day you find out that they're human, and you blame them, when in reality they never told you that they weren't human. Don't get me wrong. Because of their pride, they don't tell you when they're about to lose the house. They don't tell you when they're struggling to keep bills paid. You tell them what's wrong, and you ask them, and they like, everything's good, everything's bliss, everything's awesome. You know what I mean? And then you find out really what it is, and you feel lied to, and now you're like, oh, my father's a liar. But then you grow up to be a parent that hides things from your children in the same way, because you feel like their brain doesn't have the capacity to understand adult situations. And it's not out of not loving them. You want to protect them. That's your intention. But when you're on the other end of that, you're like, my father's flawed, my mother's flawed. And there does come a time when that atta girl that you're waiting for, that atta boy that you're waiting for, you really have to look at that parent, that guardian, that husband, that wife, and say, as much as I need that praise from you, nobody taught you how to do that for anybody. So I'm waiting on you to do something for me you don't have the capacity to do. You don't have that tool in your toolbox. That's like me walking around saying, Dad, I need a hammer. Excuse me, I need a hammer. I'm trying to build this. I need a hammer. He never had a hammer in his toolbox. All he can hand you is a screwdriver, honey. That's all he got. And you mad. But he went through his entire life maneuvering, building, success, failure, all of that without a hammer. In his mind, you can do without. So he don't understand what your problem is. You over here whining about a hammer. I ain't never had no hammer. I know you better get your act together. And you're like, it's important to have this hammer though. It will make my life so much easier if I had this hammer. That's all I'm saying. They telling you to get over it because people go without, and they do. And because you wanted something, and we do the same thing in relationships, because you want something the way you envisioned it and it doesn't come to you the way you envisioned it, you got a whole beef. And some things are just not going to come to you in that way. Where we at? Probably like what, 10, 15? Leah?
We have 47 minutes.
So about 10 minutes. Be right back, y'all.
Yes. So basically, that's oh gosh, she didn't press mute, y'all. I think the reason why it's an echo is because she has me up so loud over there. So that's why it's the echo when I talk. But she's right. She's right. But at the same token, for me, it wasn't like an excuse. My family never kept nothing from me. Like, that's one thing I can say um, about my mother and father. They never kept circumstances and situations from me. They never did that. So I will give them that. I do have a lot of respect for that. Like, they gave it to me raw and untouched. Um, but I don't think I ever faulted my mother, you know what I mean, for not being able to be like,
My bad, y'all.
more supportive. It's an echo. I don't think I faulted my mother for never not being able to be more supportive. I think my main thing was I gave her excuses a lot because, she was an abused woman by my dad. She did. Um, I do, Ebony. She did have, um, she was addicted to drugs and things like that. So I think I offered over the years more of an excuse. And then we also got to talk about the fact that, I didn't realize for a long time that my mother was jealous of me until other people started to tell me this. And I used to try to hide it. I used to be like so in denial about it. because maybe that'll be another topic that we could talk about, Ebony, how a lot of these mothers are supposed to love and be proud of their child, but instead it's an essence of a jealousy there. And my mother called CPS on me so many times because she felt like she couldn't possibly understand how I could take care of 5 children by myself. You get what I mean? But at the same token, it would be like, yo, you're such a wonderful mother. I don't understand how you're able to do it. You love them kids in and out of the car. I've been watching you do woo, 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 wah. But then at the same token, the one moment that I fail with something, or the one moment I fall short, because as parents, we fall short. We're not going to do everything perfect. Is the one moment I'm scrutinized, and you know it's been a constant battle when it comes to me and my mother's relationship. And it's a lot of women who probably go through that, a lot of jealousy, a lot of envy. And I never understood it because I looked up to my mother. You get what I mean? I used to, like, I remember like sitting there. She's the reason why I wear makeup, y'all. I used to sit there and watch my mom in the mirror, and she would sit there and do her makeup, and she would get dressed and primpy and all of this. So that's why you see me like this to this day, because that's how my mother was. You know what I mean? And I used to love it. So she should feel good. Like I wish we had that relationship where she should feel good that this is how she raised me. But no, it's never like that. And I always knew that my mother was human, because the drug addiction, her getting beat and all of that stuff. But I just always just wanted love. I always wanted love from her and my father, the real love, not the I love you, I just tell you that they love you, but the real type of love that parents show. And I never had that, and I found myself chasing that in other people. I mean, we talked about this before, Lacey. Like, I found myself chasing that in other people, only to realize, yo, Catalea, you gotta pour love into yourself. You gotta love you. And that's where I'm at. Like, I've been just loving on me and loving on me, and everything has literally been torn away from me. Like, literally, I don't have family. I don't have no family. At this point, I don't have no friends. I have one friend. And it's just like, I'm just devastated right now. I'm in the rebuilding process.
And I'm even sorry to hear that you having that experience. It's kind of crazy because even though we ended up in that place for two different reasons and two different experiences, my life is much of the same. Like, I've always been a solo person, but the only difference, I mean, and not coming from a shade space or anything of that nature, but for me, I've gotten so accustomed to being by myself that the expectation is not there. So, like, when I get accused of being cold, because, like, I'm the type of person, I can have a friend for 5 years and they wake up one day and be like, look, so Lacey, I'm not feeling it, don't really want to continue with the friendship. I'm gonna be like, you know what, you my love, we cool, I really want to continue the relationship, but if you're telling me that you need to move forward because I'm holding you back in some type of way, I wish you the best. Live your life. And they're gonna be like, damn, that's it. I'm like, I'm not about to beg you, because and that's why I tell people in my lives, like, I'm a realist. The reality is people come and go. The reality is you could say whatever you want for the future. It's going to take other people for you to be able to manifest that. I can only say for sure this is going to play out the way I said if it's only dependent on me. If I'm dependent on another person in a relationship, another person in a friendship, I could be wrong. I could fail, because both of us got to put in work in order for it to manifest itself in that way. So if I know that to be the truth, and I'm putting in my work, and you come to me telling me whatever I'm doing is not good enough, I'm going to make some decisions. Either what you asking me is just something that I'm not going to do and we going to split, or I'm willing to do that and you keep asking for stuff, or whatever the situation is. I look at it as And that's why I talk about my relationship in that way too. I love my husband. My husband loves me. I love my sister wife. She love, you know what I mean? We have love for each other. I love these kids. They practically, you know what I mean? Like can't nobody tell me they ain't come from me. You know what I mean? Like I love them that much. You know, and people are always like, you know, well, what if this and what if that? What you mean what if? That's life. What if? What happens when ish hits the fan is I gotta look at it, see if I want to move through it or step aside. And I'm gonna make that decision because I'm strong enough to do either or. Because I love my family, I love myself, I love everything, but these are experiences. And the minute you tell yourself this person would never, this is gonna be what forever, this person ain't gonna do this, I know everything there is to know about this person, all you doing is hitting yourself in the mouth. Because the minute you speak that truth, you're gonna
Facts.
find out otherwise and be sitting here
Facts.
looking like a fool. You ain't never gonna hear me say I know everything about my husband. He ain't got no secrets. Everybody got damn secrets. Who the hell do you think you are that you think that this person that told you everything because they love you? Bro, a person could not tell you everything on accident. It don't have to be deliberate because everybody has gone through so many peaks in their life. We about to be 30, you know what I mean? Like 30, 40 years old. In 40 years of a person living, you think this person told you every last experience they had in their life? What's wrong with you? And then you find out they, you know what I mean, something has happened to them that really changes your view of them, and you got the nerve to go, oh my gosh, I didn't know this about you. You honestly thought that you weren't going to spend forever learning about this person? What's wrong with you? You know, and that type of stuff is not real. You want to say, I want my father to be this particular type of person, I want my mother to be this particular type of person. The reality is they gonna be what they were exposed to. If they weren't exposed to love, they have none for you. If they were not exposed to respect, they have none for you. You have no right to imagine bull in your head and look at them and say, this is who you should be based on what I want to see. If they haven't been given the tools in their toolbox to serve that up to you, you're not going to see it. How dare you get in your feelings? You can only offer what's been given to you. So how do you hold them way up here and then hold yourself in a place where you're like, I'm just doing my best, I'm just figuring it out, I'm just growing, I'm just, you regular, and you're a real world person when you're talking about yourself. But when you're talking about other people, they can't have no flaws, they can't fail, they can't say the wrong thing, they can't hurt nobody's feelings, they can't get caught in a lie. Grow up, yo. Everybody lie, everybody hit their face on the pavement and gotta work hard to get themselves back up. Everybody go through anger, spazzing on people and having to go back and apologize. Everybody go through it. But yet we know that when we trying to explain our bad behavior. But when you see somebody else display something you don't like, you have no excuses for them whatsoever. You got all these reasons to cut them off.
And for me, I'm always making up excuses for people because I realize that, I realize that we are all flawed, that we all have things. And I feel like with this last friendship, I should have let that shit go a long time ago instead of kept waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. Because to me, they could do no wrong. You know? To me, they still cared. To me, it was those little things that they did that showed how solid they was to me. You know, it was that thing. So, because it can be the flip side, like you said, it can be people who let people get away with too much, and that's me. you know.
I was that. I don't know if you saw the post that I did of me in the white dress, and I said I remember when I was a doormat, letting everybody get away with everything and being whoever they wanted to be, and I never said a word because I didn't want to make waves. I didn't want to lose the friendship. And then eventually I evolved to a place where I'm like, Lacee, if you don't have boundaries, you're going to stay a doormat is what's going to happen. I don't like people rubbing their feet off on me. And I never did like it, but I valued their friendship and their presence in my life more than I valued me being respected. And that was a problem.
Say that word.
That was
that one
problem.
more time, like. That's how I was. I value people's presence more then I value myself being respected.
And I really had to tell myself that that was disgusting. Like, how can I expect them to show me a level of respect that I don't show myself? I'm being a hypocrite. What does it mean to show people how they treat how to treat you? It means that whatever you are requiring, you provide for yourself is what that means. That means that when I make a promise to myself, I keep it. I'm consistent with myself. When I want something and I want to pamper myself, I'm going to do those things for myself. I'm going to keep my word to myself. I'm going to make sure I have the things that I need and make sure I don't struggle and be willing to do anything to get it for myself. That way, when I bring a man into my life, bring a woman into my life, they know I expect nothing less, because if you don't give it to me, I'll give it to myself, which means I don't need you.
Man, Lacee, that's one of the things. Like, if you guys have watched any of my past YouTube videos, that is one of the things I always talk about. Keeping promises to yourself. If you cannot keep a promise to yourself, then how do you expect anybody to respect you? Anybody to respect what you're trying to do? Or do you expect to even respect anybody else? You can't even keep promises to yourself, yo. You can't even love yourself. And I talk about that so much. That is so important, Lacee.
And to me, it's a rule of thumb. People always talking about how do you maintain discipline. Me and you talk about consistency. It's about keeping those promises. And I, for me, I'm a goal setter and I have never missed the mark. I don't care if I said, you know what, 5 years, this is what I want. 2 years, this is what I want. At the end of this year, I'm transitioning out of this job because I want some more money. I'm getting a promotion at the end of this year. So that's where my focus is. Whatever the situation is, I remember when I worked at my job and I remember just walking through the doors one day and just looking around and going, oh yeah, this is my last job. And it felt good. It washed over my whole body. And I was talking to my work best friend. I kept telling her, like, yeah, buddy, when I get up out of here, I'm not working for nobody but me. And she was just like, girl, you done lost your mind. I said, but watch me do it, though.
I did that. I did that. Yes, you are. And you know what, Lacee? I did that exact same thing. I did not work for nobody for 3 years. I did the same thing. I had my business, my hair wrap, teaching my hair wrap classes, all of that. And then motherfucking COVID hit.
And the crazy thing is, for me, I was already on my way, but COVID kind of released me because it was just like, I don't know, it did something magical for me. It gave me the time that I needed to focus on my craft, which was, all that I needed. And I'm the type of person that the minute I could visualize it in my head, and this is what I tell people on my videos as well, is I'm just saying, if you have to be able to picture it without a shadow of a doubt in your mind. It's like going to shop for shoes or going to shop for clothing. You know, if you're a woman or a man and you shop, you know that feeling. When you're looking at clothes, you're looking for something, you're like, yeah, I like it, but yeah, that's cool, but yeah, that's all right, but kind of. And then there's that moment where you lock eyes with something, you like that one. And something just hits you hard. Like, what that right there is coming home with me. And there's nothing to follow up.
That's how I felt about this dress right here.
And there's nothing to follow up and deny yourself. You're not in your head questioning your money. You're not doing none of that. You like, that's mine. The same way you walking down the street and you see a man and he look at you and you look at him, and you know when you seen somebody you getting ready to talk to. I'm getting ready to experience you. You can walk by gorgeous men or gorgeous women all day, but there is a moment when you lock eyes with that one. Y'all ain't even said a word to each other yet, and you like, I'm gonna get an opportunity to get to know her. I'm gonna get an opportunity to get to know him. It's that same feeling. And so when I set my goals, I work that out the same way and say to myself, I want to be a life coach. I'm a life coach. This is what I'm doing. This is who I am. This is who I embody. And when I speak it, I feel how it feels to come out of my mouth. And if my thoughts don't take that from me deliberately after, like, nah, you don't have no business being a life coach. You need to sit down somewhere. What you know about being a life coach? You know, those self-doubt things that follow when you speak something positive over yourself. I know it's for me when it come out, and it just come out power. Like, what do you do, Lacee? Oh, I'm a writer. I'm this, and I'm an aspiring. And even if I'm aspiring, I could still say it without second guessing myself. And when I'm able to do that, I know it's for me. So I tell people, move that same way. If you're still in your head asking yourself permission to love yourself, you're not ready to love yourself yet. You're not ready to, you can speak healing all day, but when you really ready to do the work, you're going to turn into a whole different person. All of a sudden, people turn you off. You're not going to get a chance to be in your head and say, do I want to deliberate on this friendship? And I don't really know how I feel about it. All of a sudden, when they're around you, you like, I can't wait for you to take your raggedy tail home. I'm so over you right now.
If you can't speak, like, that just recently happened to me. Like, one of my exes kept coming back, trying to come back in my life, yo. And he, for some odd reason in his mind, decided to drive all the way to Houston to see me. I was like, this is crazy. And he's toxic as fuck. So anyway, so when he decides to come and see me and I see him, I'm like, ew, like the feeling's not the same. Like, I don't even want to be around you. Like, in my whole mind, I'm like thinking like, I can't wait to get away from you. I can't wait to not see you.
And it's crazy because you start to change. Like, you start to change. Like, I mean, 1 minute you looking at people and they over here like, girl, you watch Housewives of Atlanta, and you be looking like, I don't even subscribe to watching that bull.
Sure
Like,
don't. Won't
I
do
don't have
it.
time for that
Ain't
toxicity.
doing it.
Right. I don't know who's who because I don't watch that bull. You see what I'm saying? Like, I need you to come with something a little more educational for me because I can't hold that conversation with you. I don't fit into that world anymore. Oh, do you know Beyonce getting ready to have a baby? Girl, she ain't paying their bill of mine. I don't give two damns about who the hell.
Let's talk about
Baby,
these
she about to
BET
have.
awards because everybody keep talking about them, but I didn't watch them.
Facts. And I'm like, and I remember when I used to be that person. You gonna be at home watching the BET awards? I'm like, now I'm just like, oh, they had the awards? When they do that? I don't even know. I'm living my life, yo. And I'm like, you go to your closet. And I know when I started to really transition into my spirituality and really sink my fingers into it, I remember walking into my closet for the first time before I had my locks. And I was just looking at my clothes like, why do I feel like all the clothes I selected for myself are ugly as hell all of a sudden? Like, I'm just looking like everything in me was like, you should just throw all this trash out. I'm looking in the mirror at my hair like, you've been straightening this for how long? I said, yeah, I don't want that anymore. I'm looking at myself and looking at my own hair like it's not even how I wake up one day and my own hair is not attractive to me. How I look at my clothes and my shoes and I'm like, I don't even want to wear it. Like, I'm just getting ready to go to the store. I don't want to be seen outside in that. It's no longer a representation of me. That hair was no longer a representation of me. I used to pack on all type of makeup, and now putting it on makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't want that stuff on my face anymore. Like, the way I eat has changed. And it's just when you're ready for change, you don't have to speak it to nobody. It's going to gravitate towards you. You're going to feel disgusted by the things that are not of you anymore. And you're going to gravitate towards new hobbies. Now I'm over here sitting in the field, in the trees. I was never in, like, I wasn't a nature baby like that. I was inside the house chilling in front of the TV somewhere all my life. But now, before over TV, I would rather be sitting by the water somewhere. I would rather be sitting on a fallen tree somewhere.
Me too, by the beach, by the water.
Yeah. I don't even like wearing jeans no more. I want loose palazzo pants, or I want me a cute little skirt. Like, I don't even like being confined in my clothing like that no more. I go run a quick errand in some jeans. When I come home, I'm ready to take these mugs off. Like, I need some sweats. I need a dress. I need a skirt because I want to feel free. Not even realizing I'm looking for that representation. It's just, you don't really have to say where you're going. When you're on that path, everything you're looking for is going to fall right in front of you. You don't have to look for it. And we're in a place where everybody's spiritual now. Everybody's spiritual now, which is not a problem.
Everybody think they spiritual.
Exactly. And they haven't done their work. They don't know what it's going to take. They haven't even started the process, but yet they're on social media trying to judge people like, oh, you don't know nothing about this. You ain't really spiritual. And it's just like, bro, you still coming for people throat for disagreeing with you. But you ready to speak life over other people? You haven't gotten rid of the basic toxicity. If you see somebody that's misinformed, you educate them. You don't make them feel small.
Right.
That's what somebody who's elevated responds to. They see a lack of knowledge. They don't see an idiot. They don't see somebody stupid. They don't see somebody that needs to be brought down a couple notches. They just want to say, listen, this is what you asked me. This is what you stated. Here is where you're incorrect. I need you to understand that this doesn't make any sense, and here's why. So they can straighten themselves back out. If they choose not to, then that's on them. But I planted the seed. I gave you the hammer because I had it and I saw you needed one. I got an extra one. You can use mine. And when you're that spiritual, it's funny because I actually wanted to tell you something. There was on one of my posts not too long ago, somebody, I was responding to some negativity on my page. And they like to tell me, don't explain yourself, don't explain yourself, don't explain yourself. And I'm just like, this is something that I want to do. And they're just like, why give away all that energy to when you could just let people live? I said, here's the problem is it's my perspective that I want a better experience in my life. What good would it do for me to have that expectation of my life and not put that energy out there? You don't fix anything by keeping your mouth shut. So you telling me to let these people come at me sideways and not take the time to say you're misinformed. Actually, that's not a fact. This is what the facts are. Actually, you're facing that energy in the wrong direction. What I need to let you know is X, Y, Z. They're like, you burning up all this extra energy. I said, it's not extra energy to me because my calling is to bring you higher. It's extra energy for somebody who don't have no energy for it. I have an abundance of energy for it because I'm a teacher. You have to understand the difference between me being an entertainer and a teacher.
Right.
So I see errors in people's logic, and my nature is to want to help them correct it and get to a better mental state of clarity, not to leave them sitting there looking stupid. And you're advising me to see them in their ignorance and look the other way. And I'm thinking to myself, what kind of person could you be to see somebody lost in their mind, talking like they know something about something, and you have the answer to relieve them of that mental pressure, yet you look like this and keep it pushing.
And you know what? I have something to add to that because I understand that. This is for all of you who have things that you need to heal, especially within your throat chakra. Okay. Remember, Lacee was talking about how you weren't able to have a voice or speak up for yourself or something like that. And I had an experience recently that happened with me, with my mother and my brother, and I've been very vocal about it lately. And I would never be vocal about something like that previously. And for me, it was healing. And yes, it needed to be a certain level of correction, like Lacee said. You know, we are both teachers, right? So we can't tell somebody, oh, find your voice. Heal yourself. If you're not willing to speak out and be completely real and honest. And for me, like even talking about my situation with my mother and my brother, it was just a sense of healing that you guys could never understand. It wasn't malicious. It was just like one of those things, y'all, that I just had to get out. I had to get my voice. And I use that as a teaching moment because it's like Lacee said, somebody needed some correction or somebody needed to see some insight, and people were telling her, don't do that, don't do that. Well, guess how I felt when people told me, don't talk about your personal business. Don't talk about your family. Don't say what's happened or what. You have no idea how many people inboxed me after that who said, Catalea, you have no idea how much you have inspired me. I feel so much better that you said that because I never had a voice. So I had to get it out.
And the crazy thing that people don't understand is for some, their power is in their silence, while others, their power is in their voice. If you have been victimized and suffocated and silenced over your life, your power is over speaking that thing because you have been keeping the secret your entire life. And you have been running from people finding out and trying to keep it covered all your life. Do you understand that you can just break through the ceiling when, think about it, like let's say that you weren't a kind person. Let's say you had a life where, let's say you grew up, or not even a kind person, let's say you used to strip coming up, and that's how you put yourself through college. Even though you put yourself through college, once you buried that person, you never told another soul that that's who you were, and that you were a person that was willing to do that to put yourself through college because it's embarrassing. You see what I'm saying? And so now the people that do know that that's who you are, you're scared of them telling the public this is who you used to be. Do you understand the power that comes into your body when you say, you know what, I've got my bachelor's in XYZ, and there was one point in time when I didn't have clothes on my back and food on the table to take care of me and mine, and so I was willing to humble myself and use my body to get what I needed to get to take care of us. Now I got my own business. Say what you want, but I did what I needed to do to take care of my family. There's no shame in that for me. It was a decision I was willing to make. Can't nobody talk about you no more. What they gonna come for you with? Oh yeah, that's that girl that used to strip. She already said that. She already told that. You know, and we run from our truth. We hide from our secrets because somebody gonna say, oh, somebody gonna say, somebody gonna tell something. Like, bro. And the crazy thing is, you wouldn't be worried about that walking on eggshells and dimming your light if you would just come out and release it. Because at the end of the day, the people, like Catalea was saying, when she talked about her experience, other people came forward and was like, I got that same truth, but I'm scared to tell it. I'm scared to open up about it. There are so many people that are not ready to do that. So they're going to say, Catalea, don't have that conversation. Don't tell your business. Don't do this. Don't do that. She knows that's power for her. How do you get to tell her that this isn't the release that she needed? I'm a person that suffers in silence. I've always been that type. If I'm going through a rough time, ain't nobody gonna hear about it until I get on top of it. And I got my success story. When I found out I had multiple sclerosis, I hid that crap from the world for almost 2 years, going to work suffering every day, holding back my tears, not telling nobody I was in pain. When I tell you, there was one day I was bedridden and I had to stay in the bed for days at a time, and I was so helpless. I'm in my own apartment and I could barely get up to go to my own daggone kitchen. I was feeling so lost that I started using my voice online. Like this, you know what? Forget me censoring myself because my grandmother is my Facebook friend. Forget the fact that I got my daddy on here. Forget the fact all this time I ain't really been speaking what I gotta say and editing myself because what they gonna think and they gonna stop talking to me. I'm laying there and having all these thoughts in my head and I'm telling myself, y'all ain't never called me, bruh. Y'all ain't never been there for me. I'm laying here by myself in an apartment. Ain't nobody in here with me to make sure they ain't got to run me to the hospital. I'm doing this by myself. And here I am telling myself not to type this into a caption because somebody that ain't never present gonna have a problem.
Man, you better speak that. That is why now I speak my truth.
Man, I'm like, and you realize how much you've been muzzling yourself for people who don't call, don't loan you no money, they don't show up, they don't tell you they proud when you graduate. And you over here, my mama gonna feel like, and such gonna feel like, when the last time they called you? I'm telling you, that whole time, the first 2 years that I had MS, Nobody called me. Do you need money for your next appointment? What's your copay? You need me to go with you? I went to MRIs by myself, lumbar punctures, and a bunch of other stuff. Tears rolling down my face, sitting in the clinic, waiting for them to call my name. Getting bad news in the hospital room, and I gotta walk out with my head held high, like, man, whatever. Ain't nobody here, but I got it. You see what I'm saying? And feeling that type of pressure. And here I am laid in the bed, completely helpless, telling myself, don't express yourself because you're going to embarrass your family. What? And I got to this place where the first thing I said, I wrote this essay, not an essay, but like, a nice size amount of words. And my first thing was confessing I had MS. I said, I've been sick for about a year and a half, almost 2 years, blah, blah, blah. And they did the same thing. You shouldn't have, you shouldn't have, you shouldn't have. I was scared of people judging me. I was scared of people seeing I was feeling like I was weak. I was scared of seeing weakness in myself. The entire time I'm typing, tears are rolling down my face. I don't know what these people gonna say. I was scared all to hell. And they hit me with so much love. And so many people, oh my gosh, I got MS too. And what do you use? And all of a sudden I got a community of people that I didn't have access to because of my own silence. Being afraid of people judging me and changing towards me because of what I felt like was going to turn them off. When I released myself from that, all of a sudden my words had power again. And next thing you know, I'm getting all these shares. People like, oh my God, you should go live. You should start your Facebook. You should. And I'm looking at these people like, I'm not nobody. I'm just somebody that survival mode, just like everybody else. Fast forward 2.5 years, I'm a whole life coach with a whole business. And this is what I do for a living, all because that thought came into my mind that I need to stop protecting all these people that's been mistreating me and helping them save face and walk around here like they good people while I sit here inside myself and fall to pieces. What the hell I look like?
You better say that, Lacee. You better
like, what
say
do
that.
I look like?
You better say that because I did that. I did that with my mother.
Man.
You know, my mother is a first lady of a church.
Really?
And she loves on everybody.
Right.
But when it comes to her daughter, it's a whole nother ball game.
And that's
You know what I'm
crazy.
saying? So I was worried. I was worried about speaking my truth. I was worried about what other people would think. And for so many years, I was silenced by that. You know, I have a whole book that's inside of me that I want to write about my family, and about my experience and my real life true experiences. And for so many years, I was worried about my family. What would they think? I would lose relationships. But now I don't have them because I spoke out. And now I'm going to write that book. It's going to be a bestseller. It's going to be a bestseller. This is who I am, yo. Me and Lacee are so much alike in so many aspects when it comes to our purpose. This is my purpose. My purpose is a teacher. This is what I do, and this is what I was called to do. I'm not a life coach, but I'm a teacher. That's what I do. And so these are teaching moments for people to understand that you don't have to be silenced. You don't have to live in fear that you're going to hurt somebody or whatever, because the reality of it is they're not even probably there for you. How many of us have been suffering in silence for so many years? I know I have. Silence, pain, being hurt. And let me tell you guys, one of the best feelings in the whole world for me was releasing all of that and telling my story. That's one of the best feelings. And then I thought about it, because now, like, you know how we have these pity parties and we sad about, I don't have nobody here. I don't have nobody, because, yeah, truthfully, I am alone right now. But I go back and I think, I've always been alone. You get what I'm saying? Like, I go back and I think about it. Like, I never really, had nobody that truly, truly, truly had my back. Like, for real, for real. I never had that. And I found myself getting into these situations. Somebody needs to hear this. I found myself getting into these situations where I was consistently reaching out for people, reaching out for a tribe, trying to find my tribe, trying to find my people. And those people continuously let me down, right? And it was like, Catalea, listen, your life path number is 1. You too. Your life path number is 1. Catalea, you are a leader. You're not a follower, Catalea. Stop it. You're supposed to be having the tribe, and the tribe is supposed to be following you. You keep going to all these people, looking for all of these people, looking at them for validation or for help, when you're the one who needs to be helping. That is your calling. Stop it. Stop it.
Like I like to say, we all like to blend in, but some of us were born to stand out. And no matter how much you try and blend in and become a part of everybody else's world, you will continuously find yourself trying to submerge yourself into their world. And then you're going to realize it don't work, and it's going to spit you back out every single time. And you're going to go back to being by yourself. And the reason why you have to keep going through that is because your greatest fear is your loneliness. Your greatest fear is your own loneliness. And when you find power in your loneliness, can't nobody, what people can threaten you with and impose upon you is no longer a threat, because I know I got me. I know I'm self sufficient. I know I'm able. I know I'm powerful. I know that I'm resilient. So I don't worry about what ifs no more. And just like Catalea was saying, like, we like to talk about, oh, I'm in my life and I've been by myself. Ain't nobody ever looked out for me, blah, 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 this and that and the other. And then you get into a relationship or you get into a friendship and it break down and you're like, oh, I don't want to be by myself, and not even realizing you've been living your entire life like this. I was made for this ish. You hear me? I was built for this. You ain't said nothing but a word. I gotta do it by myself. Let's do that then, because I'll get there faster. I ain't got time. You see what I'm saying? And you have to know yourself well enough to speak your power and let that become a part of you. We spend so much time operating in fear. I don't want to be in. What if I lose this relationship? What if that go? Like, man, you've been without your mother and daddy for how long? You was in an apartment by yourself at what age? You put yourself through school with who money? And you doing all of this, and then the minute your marriage break down, you're like, oh, I just don't know what to do. Like, dude, you were surviving at 16. Imagine what you're capable of with all your life experiences now that you're 40. Don't you ever let nobody make you feel like you're not capable when you've been demonstrating your strength to yourself the entire time. Like, I remember when I was 20 something and I ran into a tough time in my life, and that's all I kept saying. I don't want to be by myself. And oh my goodness, I don't want to be by myself. And that, I just don't want to. And it was such a trauma thought to me, not realizing my mother been sick my entire life. I've been taking care of her. And I'm telling myself, I can't manage my life without her. My father didn't step up to the plate. You know what I mean? He was present as in the home, but did he make me feel like I was the child and he was the parent? So I go to this person when I need. No, my family more looked like me having two brothers, my younger brother and my father was more my equal, and I was a teenager. You see what I'm saying? So in my life, I'm telling myself, oh, when I didn't live with my father anymore, oh, my life is going to be a struggle. What am I going to do? Not realizing, girl, you was 15 helping with mortgage at 15. And you over here like, I don't get to live with my dad anymore. What am I going to do? Where am I going to go?
I was 14, you've been doing 14 years old when I got my first job. Exactly. I was 15, 16 paying my parents' bills because they were addicted to drugs, yo. Facts.
My bad. And we don't realize that we're running from fears we've already accomplished. Like, even when it comes to relationships, oh my God, what if he cheat? You ain't never been cheated on before? I'm sorry, but I have. I'm through it. That was then. This is now. You see what I'm saying? So if I encounter it again, yeah, it's gonna make me mad. Yeah, it's gonna hurt. but not as devastating as it was when I didn't think this person was capable. I'm a realist now. I don't put people on pedestals anymore. So now that I find out this is who you are, now I got to decide, Lacee, do you want to work with this person or are you done? Forget talking to them and what their explanation is. And if I'm going to accept it, I need to know how I feel. Do I still want you? Do I have energy to put into you to repair it? If my answer is no, it don't matter what your reasoning was. Neglect, whatever, feel however you want to feel. It don't matter because I have no energy for you. So it don't matter if you want to fix it. I'm not here to participate. You've crossed the boundary for me. I don't want to be a part of this anymore. The way I look at life is everybody is an experience. So just as easy as I can experience you, I can experience somebody else. I don't have to put myself through hell to have anything. That is a choice. So Lacee, are you choosing to put up with this? Do you want to continue to love this person through this? Do you want to continue? We spend so much time like we put up with stuff and say, I shouldn't have to put up with. Who making you?
And again, who making you?
We talk to ourselves like that, like a weirdo. Like, I shouldn't have to be dealing with you coming in the house drunk all hours of the night. I'm too good for that, and I need a better man that's gone. So go get him. What's the problem? You making it sound like somebody told you can't leave. Like, you know what I mean? You're confining yourself. You don't want to start over. You don't want to see somebody else with this person. You don't want to put all this energy into this person and watch them give all of the stuff you wanted to somebody else. That's
most importantly, you don't have enough faith in yourself to know that you deserve better.
Facts.
You deserve better.
Exactly.
You
and
deserve to be in a better position, a better situation. How much do you love yourself? Do you love yourself enough?
Exactly. And it's a necessity. It's a necessity to encourage yourself and be empowered by yourself. We spend so much time looking for that power to come from everybody outside of us. And what you need to understand is their responsibility is to uplift themselves. What do they have? How do they have to build your confidence? They still working with insecurities. They don't have nothing for you. They still sizing themselves up to the next, you know what I mean? Me and Catalea had this conversation where we were talking about uplifting other women. How can I expect you to be my best friend and lift me up? You don't even know how. You have a problem with telling another woman she pretty. How you gonna be proud of me running my business? How you gonna support me and help me send out these orders? You don't have no love for me. You can't even look at another woman and tell them they dress look nice, they hair look nice. Where'd you get your lipstick? You feel like that mean you inferior to her. You ain't even overcome that. And you have female friends like this in your circle, and you're like, they don't support my business. Girl, they don't support
why
nobody.
Are your friend? Right. They don't support you. Why are they your friend? Why are they your friend? And I had to get that too through my head, especially when it came to family, because Lacee can relate to this more than anybody. You know, I had a whole head wrap business. I had sold African clothing. I had so much going, events after events. And guess what? None of my family showed up. But some of the most people who really didn't know me supported me the most. And I had to tell myself, yo, Catalea, why do you keep fucking with your family like that? Why do you keep dealing with them like that? You know that they don't support you. Who cares? Who cares? Let them go. So I had to let all of that negativity go. I had to let it go. The only way that we can ever truly move forward with our life and love on ourselves is if we stop coddling situations, stop coddling relationships, friendships. Stop, just let it all go. Just let it go.
I was gonna say, and the crazy thing is, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. We think that applies to life, but not our family. You've been getting abandoned by your mama forever. You've been getting lied to by your dad forever. And you still coming back expecting them to not lie and expecting them not to abandon you and getting your heart broke over and over and over. How many times does somebody have to tell you this is who they are before you accept it? We talk to each other about that all the time. Accept when people tell you who they are the first time? Why are you trying to, we like to convince other people of stuff. Like in my marriage, people are just like, well, eventually you're going to feel like this. How you going to tell me what's going on inside of me? Eventually this is what's going to happen. This is how it's going to break down. How you going to tell me about what exists within my body? And people like to say that, like, I get to tell you how you feel. I get to tell you what bothers you. You can say, this bothers me. No, it don't. You just want attention. How do you get to speak for me and tell me what I'm telling you is not valid when we talking about me and my experience? And a lot of times we actually engage in conversations and arguments about this and skip over the fact that they honestly think they get to tell you who you are. And the minute you press back against them, now you're being argumentative. You don't get to tell me that this is how I choose to exist in the world. This is who I see myself as. This is who I am. This is, I'm love, or I'm, you know what I mean? Like, people will tell you that you're a thief, you're a liar, you're this and that and the other. And in your heart, you like, I would never, I have never. And you will let that become your truth. And they don't know nothing about what's going on in here. And you're going to let this person come into your space and say, you ain't going to be nothing. How do you get to tell me even about my capabilities? Even if you raised me, you don't know what I'm capable of because you can't get in my head.
You know what? And this is a good one too. This is a good one, Lacee. People will basically think certain things about you based on what they have experienced or what they fear So you know that you can have pure intentions. You know you got a good heart. You know you would never hurt them or do nothing wrong to them. But you can't tell them anything because they've been through so much extra stuff that they're looking at you like you're that person that's going to pull them down or do something wrong to them. And you know what? That's okay to let them have that. Like Lacee said, let them have that. That just means that they were not meant to be in your life. They're not meant to be a part of your journey. Stop making excuses for those people. You say you want to coddle them. You want to make them feel better. You want to show them, like Lacee was saying, I want to show you that I'll never do that to you, that I'll always be faithful, that I'll always be loyal to you. I'm going to show you. That's not your place to show them. They have to heal on their own. And it's not your fault that they feel that way.
And we have to realize the different places that we're in with other people. Like, cutting somebody off doesn't mean less love. Cutting somebody off doesn't mean I don't advocate for you anymore. That's what it means if that's who you choose to be. I've cut plenty people off that know good and well if they were in the middle of suffering and in dire need, they know they can still hit my phone. But I'm not going to go out of my way to reach out to you. I will watch you from afar. You will catch a heart every once in a while in your accomplishments, but we may not speak directly, but I will let you know every once in a while I see you and I'm still cheering for you. But I understand you are not permitted in my space. I understand I'm not permitted in your space. And it's just it's just a mutual respect that way. That even when it comes to relationships, sometimes you made somebody who was meant to be a friend a romantic partner and you realize you failed. So now I have to be able to compartmentalize and put all of that on the back burner and say, I would like to switch you back to a friendship. Is that possible? Absolutely. It's about your discipline. It has nothing to do with whether or not you've been intimate with this person previously. It's about your discipline and your promises you make to yourself. If I left you, we're done. Done. So I can be in your space every day. There is no want for anything more than a friendship going on in my mind. I don't care if whatever it is, how you can throw yourself, you can do whatever you need to do. I'm gonna be like, I know you need to get my face. I know you need to chill out. there's nothing you can do that's going to change my perspective of who you are. Once I've decided you're poisonous to me, that's for the rest of your life in that department when it comes to a romantic relationship. Or if I see you as a toxic friend, we may not get up and chill no more. I still can acknowledge the good parts of you, but say if it was a corruption within the business, you can still be my friend. I just can't do business with you. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people have a bad experience with somebody, and you be ready to cut them off for the rest of their life. No, you might have made the mistake and put them in the wrong spot in your life. You misconstrued who they were for being loyal, so you put them in your business. You made them your best friend. No, this might be a casual friend that you go out with every once in a blue moon, and she know how to get litty with you, so y'all know how to turn up in the club, but she ain't nobody to tell all your business to. You need to realize that and change how you move. Like I said, you have to realize everybody is their own person. Some people, they messy. Some people, they steal. Some people, they hard workers, or whatever the situation is. You might have a cousin, and you know good and well you let this person in your house, they gonna take something. That don't mean you gotta disown them and be like, you can't roll with me ever because I know you be stealing. No, that means when we go do something, I'm gonna keep my purse on hand, and we gonna go out into a public place because I don't want you in my house because you be stealing. That don't mean I can't enjoy you and have a drink because you still a real dope person out in the public with conversation. You see what I'm saying? But if you have somebody that's not positive anywhere, there is no place you can work with them and still channel your friendship, then yeah, you gotta let them go. But it's about boundaries and discipline. You don't
That's
have to
how.
cut
That's
these
how
people
I have
off.
to. I had to do that with my mother, Lacey. Like I literally tried to do the whole boundary thing, not telling my business or any of that, but it still backfired. It was like, yo, this is still backfiring to this day. So I had to completely cut her off. And like Lacey is saying, like, doesn't mean that you don't love her. Like I love my mom. Like if my mom got sick right now, I promise you I would go take care of my mother. If my mother needed anything, I would be there for my mother, regardless. And she knows that probably before any of her other kids will. That's the crazy part about it. But we just like Lacey said, you sometimes you have to compartmentalize people, and some people are not even meant to be in your life at all. Like period.
I was gonna say you gotta know yourself as well. Cause I was gonna say, shoot, I ain't meant to be in everybody's life. Like some people, I know I'm good. I'm the type of person I'm gonna give it to you straight, and I'm gonna always give you a way that you can grow and be better. If you don't like hearing that type of stuff, I ain't the friend for you. I don't know how to not be that person. And if you are going to continue to be in my space and not want me to be that person, please expect me to not talk to you that much, because that's all that's on my mind. You can't be my friend and sit on the phone and want to complain about your life all the time. I'm the one that's gonna be like, I hear you, but what are you doing to change it? I can't sit on the phone and hear that redundant conversation over and over about the same person and over. Like, I'm gonna be that friend to be like, listen, love, I understand you going through hell and high water with this dude. Call me when you ready to leave.
No, but you know how you are. You know how
I
you
love you,
are
but
too, though, Lacey. Like Lacey is so motivational, y'all.
I love you,
Like
but I can't.
I could be on the phone with Lacey, and I'd be like, Lacey, blah blah blah, and Lacey gonna give you all the tools to get you right. I promise you.
And I mean, but it's something that I can't really help most of the time. You know what I mean? And I honestly don't mean no harm. Like some people take it really hard, and they're like, oh, I said something mean, and I'm just like, I'll try my best to censor it, word it differently, but you still gonna take it the same way. At the end of the day, if you call me with a problem, I work in solutions. Even with myself.
And I'm that friend I'll probably tell you stuff about your life that you didn't even know that I knew, because
Fact, yeah.
I'm an intuitive.
Yeah,
So
and see me too. It's crazy because even when I do my coaching, like I could watch my client make a face, and I just be like, "Yeah, you wasn't feeling the fact that I said that. Tell me, you know what I mean? where do you feel like I was wrong? Oh, I didn't say you was wrong. Yeah, you did. You just didn't say it with your mouth. Like,
Yeah,
like you don't want
but
to
for me,
offend
like
me, but I can
I can
take
look
it.
at people literally and know exactly what happened when they was a kid, all this stuff, like,
Facts, and I'm the same way.
because I got that spiritual gift.
You
And
ain't
then
lying.
another thing with me too, if you call me, I'm gonna give you diets to eat, how to align your chakras,
Facts.
all
But
of that.
the weird thing is there's some people that really have problems in their life and they don't want solutions. They just want to talk your head off. And I get it. If you want to vent, my love, and you don't want to fix it, please find somebody else. Cause for me, it's just if I'm talking about the same thing over and over, it's because I'm wrecking my mind trying to find a solution. And I will get there with or without my friends, with or without my family. But I might bring up the same thing in conversation, but it's because I'm working hard to decipher and I'm going through something and I'm trying to find where I missed and where I made a mistake, a misstep, so I can rebuild it and repair it. But some of y'all like to talk and you have no desire to get out of what you're complaining about, and you just want people to sit by and listen to. I don't think you realize that that negativity is transferring through the phone. I don't want to carry all of that. And when my family, my friends are in pain and they don't feel right within themselves, whether I want it or not, I'm gonna take some of that pain from you. I'm gonna take some of that grief from you. When I lay my head down, I'm still wrecking my brain like, I don't want Leia to feel like that. Should I have said this? And maybe I should have, you know what I mean? I'm still wallowing over how I can see her smile. How can I see her have a better experience, because I take on other people's energy. So if I know you're not
That's
out
me
to
too.
save
I'm
yourself,
an
I
empath too.
can't. Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
I can only take so much. Oh, you not working towards nothing positive, hun? Please call me back when you ready for some progression, because you will have me locked in my body in all type of agony and depression, and I can't even give you positivity to help you rid us both of it because you're not ready to grow. So I talk to people in that way with their relationships. Like when they call me, oh girl, he at it again. I'm like, baby, it's okay. Like, tell me about how you feeling. Tell me about this. Tell me about that. You know what you want to do already. You just calling me to make sure it's the right thing. You know it's the right thing. You just working on acceptance. There's nothing that I need to talk to you about. You just trying to work it through in your mind and work yourself up to doing what you need to do. Most of the time when your friend call you and they in a bad way, they already know what their decision is. They just need your permission to tell them it's okay to feel how you feel and move how you getting ready to move. They need your blessing. You're not going to get that from me. I need you to make that decision for yourself. I can see why you feel that way. I can see why you feel like you need to move that way. But you're not wrong for being with this person. You're not wrong for walking away from this person. You're not wrong for loving your father. You're not wrong for disowning your father. You have to do what's going to fulfill inside of you. I'm not going to plant no seeds in your head and say, yep, I can't stand my daddy. You need to just kick him to the curb, child.
Yeah, that's me. Like, so many times people be wanting you to be like giving them advice on what to do, like how to relate to certain people or what to say to certain people. And I tell people, like, do what's best for you.
Facts. I'm
Like,
not going to poison your mind. You're going to have to
I
come
can
to
give
that
you some
conclusion on your own.
tools on how to fix yourself, because that's my most important thing, is doing the self work to fix yourself. Fix yourself, love on yourself, care about yourself. You know what I mean? And so that's going to be my advice every single time when somebody hits me up and asks me about personal stuff with relationships or things like that, because I've been through every spectrum of a relationship that you could think of. And I'm going to always tell you, work on yourself. Dig deep. Why did this make you feel this way? Was it something that happened in your past that you dealt with from family, from childhood trauma, whatever? You have to deal with yourself first before anything else.
And in order to take in the truth, you got to have your mind prepared for it, because there are also those friends that call you to be lied to. They want you to lie and follow them up in they bull. Don't call me and tell me that you done did something trifling and you over here chuckling on the phone and you done did something toxic. I'm not about to sit on the phone with you and cheer for you. Like, and I've lost a lot of friends for that one too. Like being petty and doing something childish. Oh, well, he did this to me, so I did this back. Like, okay, so now you're setting a standard for petty? Like, come on now. Well, you know, when he started it, it don't have nothing to do with nothing. At the end of the day, his actions represent him and your actions represent you. You can't fault him for he acted how he needed to act because whatever it was, he needed to communicate something in specific to you. The only way he knew how to communicate that was through being petty. You did not have to respond with petty if you know better than that. That was a choice. And you don't get to blame him because he started out with petty. You could easily respond to that and be like, listen, bro, listen, babe, I'm not about to follow you up. That was really petty. It hurt my feelings.
You know what? A lot of people don't like to hear the truth. And I reference back to this, especially women. We do not like to hear the truth.
Not at all.
But I'm going to reference back to this particular situation. I like to hear the truth. I would rather go through the hurt. I would rather freaking cry, boo-hoo, look crazy. Give it to me hard and hardcore. I want to hear the truth. That's how I feel. And I'm referencing back to a situation where I had been trying to talk to this particular friend, like, what did I do? What's wrong? Woo, woo, woo. Can you just talk to me? Can you just, and finally when they talked to me and they told me, yo, Galilei, I'm not fucking with you no more. I was like, ooh. But I was so relieved that I knew something. So I'm one of those people, I would rather hear the truth. But the truth, I'm going to tell y'all, don't ask for the truth if you don't really want to hear it, because the truth hurts. It hurts.
And I listen, I'm so bad. Like anybody who knows me up close and personal, I'd be the first one to be like, don't ask me nothing you don't want to know the answer to, because I'm about to give you raw and uncut. Like if you thought I was about to filter it, you are mistaken. Please don't ask me. And I'm like, and I'll even be, I hate to say it, sometimes I'm sarcastic. Somebody ask me a question and I'll be like, you want the truth or the lie? And they'll be like, what is that supposed to mean? I'm like, I have to ask you, because if I volunteer the truth and you get in your feelings, that means you wanted the lie. Don't snap on me. You know what I mean? Because a person that want the truth is gonna process it. You're not gonna spaz on me if you want the truth. But people,
no, I'm gonna cry. I'm like, I'm gonna cry,
and it's complete. And even for myself,
and then I'm gonna be like, but thank you.
And I agree with you 100% too. I'm the same way. Like, dude, it might break my heart, but I'd rather you tell me the truth and let me work through it than hide it from me, and then I find out. Now I know now you a liar, and I got to deal with the truth. I'd rather just deal with it straight out. And I get it that we've formulated a world where it's normalized to lie and then claim you real. It's like we tell everybody what they want to hear and never tell the truth. But yet I keep it 100. I keep it 100. Like, no, you don't. Like, you can meet a female right now and you're a dude out here and she gonna be like, are you a player? No, I ain't no player. Knowing good and well you got six to eight females in your phone right now as a backup plan just in case I don't give you my number. But you're gonna look me in my face and tell me you're not a player. Then as now when I'm in love, I'm gonna find out you are. And we act this way because we don't think people are gonna accept you as you are. And the truth is they're not, because we've spent so much time romanticizing what's real that we don't own up to the fact that what's real is the person you in love with is gonna cut you deeper than anybody. You're gonna have to grow through that with that person. The person that you are best friends with, y'all gonna go through breakdowns and y'all gonna have to build it back up and move forward. You letting the world telling you everything is flowers and rainbows and the Disney Channel and Hallmark cards, child. So the minute you run into a problem, you ready to run for your life. Oh no, because we arguing and you toxic. Arguing means y'all have a difference of opinion. It don't mean anybody's toxic.
Right. And this is one thing I will say for me. You know, I've always been one of them people that likes to try to stay and work it out and talk through it, especially if I find value in you. But nowadays, like Lacee said, it's so many people who just see any little thing or see any little sign or anything that they feel like, oh my God, let me run for the hills, that they're not willing to work through that. And she's so correct. But Lacee, we're going on 2 hours. we.
I was
I
about to
don't
say,
want to
I
keep you.
know. I said I
I
know
don't want to
10
keep you
minutes,
on too
53
long because
minutes ago.
I'm actually ready to relax and stuff.
You and me both. I'm with you. So
So go
you
ahead,
good.
Lacey. I'm gonna let you do your closing statements, and then I'll do mine.
Whew, it was a pleasure. I love y'all. You can find me at Instagram at Lacee LeBeau _rise. You can find me at Facebook at Lacee LeBeau Moments of Clarity. I'm not gonna list my YouTube for you just yet because I don't have nothing up there. It's functioning, but I probably got one post up there. But I'm a life coach, so my specialty is relationships. If you haven't noticed, relationships. So if you're working on your communication, working on your healing, relationships and healing. If you're working on either one of those things, how to better communicate with said person, how to deal with said emotion, I am your person. The same way me and Catalea talk, I promise you my one-on-ones are just like that. It's like being with a friend, not talking to somebody that's here to lecture you and act like they haven't been there. I promise you I got a story just like it. If I'm comfortable, I may even share it with you because I'm very transparent that way and I really understand it's important to know where the person who's trying to teach you something is coming from, and it's really hard to receive from somebody that can't relate to your experience. So I want to provide that. All the pricing and all that good stuff is available on Instagram and Facebook. Very affordable, I promise you that, because it's too often that our melanated people don't get help because they don't have enough in their purse, and that's not important for me. It's important that you guys reach our level of elevation and you can actually say you living your best life to the fullest instead of that just being a hashtag.
All right. So y'all heard it. Y'all heard it here. So definitely everybody, I would love for y'all to like, comment, and subscribe. Trying to get my YouTube channel up. Of course, you guys know that I did, take a little hiatus, and y'all know I just told y'all what I've been going through. But we're gonna be back in full effect. We have a couple people coming on the show. One of them, of course, we've been talking about the Dane Calloway video interview that I'm going to be doing. That is in the makings. We're still talking. He is a very busy man, y'all. So please forgive me, but Dane Calloway is still coming on Catalea Speaks. We just spoke. We're trying to get a date together because he's traveling and all of these things. So we do got, a couple videos that we will be talking about, and I will be diving more into self-love, shadow work, and things like that on the YouTube channel. So be sure to like and subscribe. And thank everybody for coming out. Thank everybody for being here. We appreciate your love and your energy. Thank you, Lacee. I always enjoy you. And this is going to be a regular thing that me and her are going to be doing. So please be on the lookout. Me and Lacee are talking. I think we're going to do it once a week, right?
I don't know. I mean, I'm down. I'm definitely down. But I know you'll probably be picking up or whatever, so we might have to dial it back to maybe, I don't know, twice a month. We can do twice a month.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll probably do it twice a month, guys, and we're definitely going to be bringing this to you guys more because I think that these type of conversations need to be had. Also, we're going to be doing the goddess panel, and we're going to be having men and women. Okay,
Now
that
that I hope that I'm invited because
yes,
I
you
definitely
and
I
Kev are
was
definitely.
about to say I'm excited for that.
Listen, you and Kev are definitely invited. I got a
Cool.
couple other people who are um, very well known who I've been trying to coordinate a time with. We've been missing each other, and I
Nice.
think this is going to be a very needed panel. It's going to be a no holds bars panel, so we are going to actually freely be able to truthfully express ourselves on both male and female situations and things like
Woo!
that, to where people are going to be like, and I'm not going to hold back.
Woo!
I'm not holding back.
That's gonna be fun. I'm
So,
excited. I'm excited.
so
Straight
yeah,
no chasers, just how I like it. Let's do it.
so this is what I've been working on. It's hard though, trying to correlate everybody getting their schedule together, but yeah, definitely you're invited. So
Yes, yeah. Keep me in the loop. I'm excited for that. And we still got to do the women's panel.
we had a women's panel, but I tried to contact you and couldn't
When?
contact you. Go
Man.
look. Go. I want you to go look. But we'll do another one. We'll do another one.
Yes, because I know
We
we
did.
were supposed to do that. I was
We
looking
had
forward to
one.
that.
Yes, Lacey,
Did
we
you
had one.
really?
But I tried
Send
to
me the link
contact
because
you.
I want to watch it and pout the whole time because I feel some type
You can go back and look at it. But yeah, we definitely
Yeah.
had one. It was a good panel too. It
I
was really
bet.
good.
Oh my gosh.
But we gonna have another one. We gonna have another
For
one.
sure.
All righty, y'all. Love and light, family. Peace and blessings. And I hope everybody has a good evening. We out.
Peace.
Bye.